Hey guys, how y'all doing today? First days of our new lessons. Hopefully I'll see you guys on Zoom tomorrow in the class. But I wanted to go over a couple things. Of late, you should have watched the videos on line plots and finding the mean and the mode and the range, home on the range where the minimum and maximum play. Well, today we're going to use something other than a line plot to demonstrate how we can show central tendencies, which is what our numbers are, and it's called a stem and leaf plot. So let's say that I have some numbers, and it's just data that we've collected. So let's say we had the number 7, 13, 26, 4, 31, and 15. And let's say that we had another 13. Now the first thing I'd want to do with those numbers, just like you've done before with your numbers, is we want to put them in order from least to greatest. So we're going to go from least to greatest. So our smallest number would be 4. I'm going to cross it out, make sure I have it. Then I have the number 7. Then I've got the number 13, and make sure you have it twice. And then I'm going to have the number 15, the number 26, and the number 31. So I've put them in order from least to greatest. Now, how do I make my stem and leaf? Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line here, and this is going to be my stem, and this is going to be my leaf numbers. Oops, let me get rid of that. Well, I didn't think it would do that, but it did. Stem and leaf. So, it's basically numbers based on tens, what numbers they are in the tens. You have 0 to 10, you have 11 to 19, then you have 20s. So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put 0. What numbers do we have that go from 0 to 10? Well, we have the number 4, and we have the number 7. So, I'm done with those two numbers. So, what's in my teens? I have the number 13, and it happened twice, and I had the number 15. I'm done with my numbers in the teens. What comes after your teens? Your 20s. So I'm going to put a 2, and I have the number 26. It's the only number there. Then when I look in the 30s, I have the number 1. So this means I have the number 4, 7, 13, 13, 15, 26, and 31. Going back to what we learned before, about mean and mode and median, we can easily figure those things out. So our range, for example, would be the minimum number, which is 4, subtracted by our maximum number, which is 31, and our range would equal 27. Okay? If I wanted to find the mode, I'd look up there and figure out which number occurred the most. Well, that number would have been 13. So my mode would have been 13. My median, I cross out the first number, the last number, next number, the last number, then the next number and the last number, and I ended up with, oops, I crossed out one too early. So I cross out there, I cross out here, cross out there, cross out here, cross out here, and we end up with our middle number, which would have been 13. Remember, sometimes those numbers can occur. And then, of course, if I wanted to find the mean, I would add all these numbers up and divide by how many I had. So, central tendency, and today we've showed it in a different diagram other than our line plot, and showing it in a stem and leaf. And they do that, and they call it stem and leaf because if you kind of look at it, it would look like a leaf. So, stem and leaf. Other thing I wanted to talk about today was with language arts. And in language arts, I'm just going to turn to the back, but we really didn't get a chance to talk about something called genres. I've got some assignments for you that you're going to do in ReadWorks, and they are talking about genres. And genres, you're probably familiar with genres in music. For example, you might listen to rap or jazz or blues or rock or classic rock or alternative country, or you might listen to, let's say, bluegrass music. So those are genres of music. They're all music, but they're just different types. Well, in language arts, we have the same thing. We'll have stories that could be narratives. We have fiction and nonfiction, but we have things like folklores or fairy tales, Greek mythology if you're reading about Zeus. Then there's things that are realistic, but they're not necessarily true. So realistic fiction. We had a couple of those stories this year. So in StoryWorks, you're going to have some assignments on genres, and I'll ask some questions during Zoom. All right, I hope you guys are doing well. Make sure you get this practice in. I will have an assignment through Seesaw that will go with the stem and leaf plot and give you some practice with that. All right, guys, take care. I'll see you tomorrow.